Then I read that the Raja,
Okay.
after he died at the Cape, all his children became Murtad. You know Murtad?
Oh my goodness.
All his children became Murtad. This Captain Van Happel pretended to be Muslim. He wore Muslim clothes. He spoke Arabic.
Yes.
And he convinced Syekh Yusuf to surrender to the Dutch. It is described in this Dutch Reverend's diary. They cut the bodies in half, hang it over trees.
Oh my goodness.
And therefore, some of Syekh Yusuf's followers that was hanging, cut bodies in half, hang over trees.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to Talang Institute Literasi dan Kolaborasi. So this is the first time we conduct interview in English. Previously, because mostly the speakers are Indonesian, so we speak Bahasa. But for today, actually I was a bit nervous too.
No, don't be nervous.
So we're just going to discuss about, because I read from the article from the internet, you are researching about Syekh Yusuf. Yeah, Syekh Yusuf. Because you're conducting a research about Syekh Yusuf. So actually, we wanted to know what makes you interesting in researching Syekh Yusuf or Tuan Tasalamaka.
So I'm a law professor. I'm a professor in law. And I was asked to write a paper on a connection between South Africa and Southeast Asia.
All right.
So I was looking for a topic in law to write about. And then I thought about freedom of religion.
Yes.
You know, because at the time, when we have Dutch colonization, there was no freedom of religion. So I thought, okay, that was a good connection. We have Indonesians. We say Cape Malay, which means at the time that Syekh Yusuf came to South Africa, the Malay-Indonesian archipelago was one place.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't say Cape Indonesian, we say Cape Malay, but it's actually the majority of people came from Indonesia. You know? So then I said, okay, I'm going to write about this. But then I thought, let me look at the Syekh Yusuf and see something. Then I had a book on Syekh Yusuf.
All right.
And the author had written the book. And one line in the book, it said that Syekh Yusuf's daughter at the Cape married the Raja of Tambora.
Okay, yeah.
So the Raja of Tambora was also a political exile. He came shortly after Syekh Yusuf arrived.
All right.
He came. But he was half Syekh Yusuf's age. Syekh Yusuf was over 60, the Raja was about 30.
Okay.
You know, that was the age difference, almost double the age. So I thought, oh, that's very interesting. And I accepted it, you know. I thought, okay, they got married, you know. Then I read somewhere else. Then I went to investigate a bit about the Raja. I wanted to see how did they get married? If they're political exiles, they're held in isolation. How did they get married if they're not supposed to be mixing, you know?
All right.
The Dutch will not keep the exiles together, you know? So I know the Raja was exiled separately and Syekh Yusuf was in separate places.
So they're living in separate places.
But not too far from each other.
All right.
But separate, you know? So I said, okay, interesting, let me find out. Then I read that the Raja, after he died at the Cape, all his children became Murtad. You know Murtad?
Oh my goodness.
All his children became Murtad.
I've just known that.
Yes. So I said to myself, but if the Raja was married to Syekh Yusuf's daughter, then that means it is Syekh Yusuf's grandchildren that all became Murtad. And I did the investigation and for sure the Raja's children became Murtad. But the Raja never became Murtad. His wife never became Murtad. The Raja wrote the first Quran in South Africa. He wrote the Quran because it is recorded in the writing of a visiting priest. He said, I visited the governor's estate. The Raja was living at the governor's estate and I saw him writing the Quran. And, you know, and I met his wife and she followed him from Bima out of love for him. So that to me, when I read that, it says, the Raja must have come with his wife from Indonesia. So how did they marry the wife in Cape Town? You know, and how can it be? We know it is Syekh Yusuf's daughter. So that is how I started. And it was during COVID.
Oh my goodness.
So it was during COVID and then we were locked down. And then I spent 1 year writing and researching. And I went through the records and that is how it started. And then I've come to the conclusion, and even though people have written about this, and they don't say much, that they say it's Raja's children, but if you're saying it's Syekh Yusuf's daughter, it means, and it cannot be proven beyond the reasonable doubt that that is Syekh Yusuf's daughter.
So there's no proof that she is the daughter of Syekh
that
Yusuf.
same priest that said that he met the Raja, he also said afterwards, after he was retired and he's back in Holland, many years later, he refers to his diary. Now he writes a book, and he says again the story he met the Raja. Then he said, I was told, somebody told him that the Raja was married to Syekh Yusuf's daughter. No, he did not say. He said, I was told that the Raja was married to a daughter from the entourage of Syekh Yusuf. So when Syekh Yusuf came, he came 49 people. It could have been somebody connection on that ship, you know, or a wife from Makassar, you know. But the Raja tried to leave when Syekh Yusuf's family left the Cape in 1704. The Raja tried to leave, and the Dutch said, wrote in the letters, and I translated it, said the Raja tried to leave pretending to be family. But the Dutch was too clever, and he was stopped. He couldn't leave, you know. So everything that my research that I've done, and because I've now done my own investigation, I'm saying it cannot be proven that that was Syekh Yusuf's daughter. So in other words, if there is doubt, then abstain from the doubt, you know, and things like that. That's what we would say in Islam. If you are not sure about something, why make tarnish the name of Syekh Yusuf when it cannot be proven?
So there was like misleading.
When I read and translated, and I also had other experts. We looked at the translations. And so it's a long story, but I wrote a whole book just on that one sentence. A whole book. And so when Syekh Yusuf came to the Cape, he did not write anything. And the Dutch did not keep much records. So only from what I can make from the family is what I found in the letters and translated it. You know, because it took 3 months for a letter to come from Cape Town to Indonesia, because the VOC had the headquarters in Batavia, Jakarta. And then 3 months more, the letters will come back. Letters, I looked at the letters that we have at the Cape. You know, I studied those letters.
During the exile time, Syekh Yusuf was isolated in certain places, right? So far away from the surrounding, the people around. So how did he have big influence in South Africa?
You see, I think Syekh Yusuf's influence is more after his death. Because you must remember, Syekh Yusuf was a very early exile, right? After Syekh Yusuf, many years after, more people came from Indonesia who was Tuan Guru and people who were also Hafiz of the Quran. But Syekh Yusuf was the first Haji at the Cape. He was a Hafiz of the Quran. He was a Sufi saint of many tariqas, right? Many orders, and he wrote many books. But Syekh Yusuf didn't come from Indonesia to Cape Town. Syekh Yusuf came from Indonesia to Sri Lanka,
and
then to Cape Town. So he still wrote in Sri Lanka, but he was already old. Syekh Yusuf was 63 years old. You know, our Prophet Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away at the age of 63. So you can imagine he was old, you know, and he passed away at the Cape at that time. So
I mean, like, because he is in.
How did he promote Islam? Now that is another question that my research will show. There was no freedom of religion at the Cape. You could not practice Islam openly, and if you did, you would be punished by death. Death sentence. So Syekh Yusuf could practice Islam privately. If he had 49 people, it's like a Shafi congregation. You know, he could have practiced amongst his. So some of the people who came with Syekh Yusuf was his children, 14 children, 12 generals. You know, we say generals, but it could be followers. And if you look at the children's names, some were girls and some were boys, right? If you looked at his followers, the people who wrote in South Africa, they said all of them were imams. But when I looked at the 12 names, it was 5 were ladies. So how can it all be imams, right?
It cannot
so it's
be.
misleading information.
Yes.
And then I said, so they were intermarried. Because the records show they were intermarried, so they could have married. It could be wives and husbands and children. Sheikh Yusuf had grandchildren. He had his sons, his daughters. He had 2 wives from Indonesia and 2 ladies from Sri Lanka, which we also now say is his wives. You know, but the point is, not one of the names of the daughters of Sheikh Yusuf match any of the 4 names we have for the Raja's wife at the Cape. And I found information that the Raja was already married in Indonesia. And he had a child here before he came to the Cape. You know? So it's a nice story to say the Raja was married to Sheikh Yusuf's daughter, because we have only the evidence of a Christian priest. And he was a Dutch person. And the letter that that Sheikh Yusuf wrote from Sri Lanka, which he said, "I'm very old, I'm tired, I want to go home, please forgive me, and I was wrong." It sounds very fishy to me. Why will a man who's already exiled for so long ask for forgiveness? You know? And it's a Sufi saint, you know. So that also, it's only a Dutch translation. We have never seen the original letter. You know? So therefore, one sees information, and my profession is law. And I learn to interpret the law. You know, because you can say one word, it can mean this or that. When Sheikh Yusuf was in Indonesia, when he was captured, the Dutch foxed him. This Captain van Happel pretended to be Muslim. He wore Muslim clothes. He spoke Arabic. And he convinced Sheikh Yusuf to surrender to the Dutch, because he pretended to be Muslim. So can you see how one cannot trust any information that you get? You've got to be careful, you know. And it was very sad for me when I saw that capture, how they captured Sheikh Yusuf. It is described in this Dutch reverend's diary. They cut the bodies in half, hang it over trees.
Oh my goodness.
And therefore, some of Sheikh Yusuf's followers, that was hanging, cut bodies in half, hang over trees. And then then Sheikh Yusuf surrendered, because
it's from the written in the diary.
Yes, it's that is a true story, because the captain who did this, he told the priest that wrote in his diary, "This is how we captured Sheikh Yusuf. We foxed him. We pretended to be Muslim. We said what could you say in Arabic?" Because this captain could speak Arabic, right? He did all these things. And you know, this Indonesian priest, he could speak Indonesian. Dutch priest could speak Indonesian. Because in his diary, he says, "I met the Raja at Vergelegen. I spoke to his wife. And we spoke in the Indonesian language. And the governor of the Cape, who was a Dutchman, was so surprised that he could speak Indonesian language, Bahasa, so well."
Oh my goodness.
You see, so they understood your language. They understood Arabic, because that is how they can capture you. You know, that is how they can, because that priest came to Indonesia to teach Muslims to be Christian. That was their job. So that was his job, to spread Christianity in there. And we also have the priests in South Africa that spread Christianity. So it was quite amazing for me, because this topic of freedom of religion.
I'm mind blowing. Oh my goodness! I've just known all this stuff. Now. Goodness.
So people think that. So that's why for me it was so special to come here, because I'd written this book about Sheikh Yusuf. I had learned so much. I sat for 1 year in COVID. I was also sick, you know. I also had COVID, but I couldn't stop the research. I just went on, and I find one clue, more clues, you know, because
one
I had
clue
to
led
study.
to another clue.
I had to study all these documents now. And my friends and some, because in South Africa we speak a Dutch language, Afrikaans.
Oh my!
So I can understand the letters, but it's in Old Dutch. So you got to have it translated. And people from Holland helped me. People in South Africa from Dutch origin helped me translate those letters into English, you know. And so when I made the story together, I could see, you you know. And if you look at Syekh Yusuf's wives, and the women in Indonesia don't know this, but Syekh Yusuf's head wife in South Africa, after Syekh Yusuf died, so this priest also wrote in his diary. He came to South Africa in 1705. Syekh Yusuf passed away in 1704. And he came, the priest came to visit the other priest. But the other priest lived next to Syekh Yusuf. As, they had all the farms, you know. Syekh Yusuf was in isolation. So the South Africans were saying, oh, it's a pity that the Reverend, his name is Reverend Kelden, did not convert Syekh Yusuf to Christianity. I said, how do you think this priest can convert a Sufi saint, Hafid of the Quran, Haji, make him Christian, you know? I mean, how is that going to be possible? Then I looked at the age of the Reverend. The Reverend was 30 years old. Syekh Yusuf was 63 already at the time
so
he came to the
it's written after he passed away.
No, I'm saying it's such an age gap.
Okay.
How can, and this Reverend was found to be a thief afterwards. He was dismissed from the judge, from the VOC, because he was more worried with profits and working in making money than to be a priest, you know. So if you are a man of God, then you are supposed to be an honest person. But this priest was not honest, you know. And the Reverend that came to visit him then wrote in his diary, before he met the Raja, I visited Syekh Yusuf's grave. So they found Syekh Yusuf's grave because in 1704 Syekh Yusuf passed away. And in 1705 he visited and he could see the stones there. So when Syekh Yusuf died, the family asked, the Raja asked for the Syekh Yusuf's body to come back.
To return to
the family to come back. And they also asked the body. So I saw the letters. And the Dutch first said no. And the Dutch also said, you can only come back with your children below the age of 5. All the older sons cannot come back. The daughters can come back, but if the sons come back, it will be trouble in Indonesia. You know, because of Syekh Yusuf's influence. So the wife said, no, my family is all together or we stay here. She stayed another 5 years. So 10 years in Sri Lanka, 5 years in South Africa, Syekh Yusuf died. Another 5 years, 20 years, they stay away from Indonesia. And she only left when they allowed everybody to leave. And when they did, the Dutch wrote in the letters, we will turn a blind eye. If you want to take the body, you can take it. But now we know for Islam, when you die, you are buried. And that man saw Syekh Yusuf's grave, right? He saw the grave. And he wrote about it. He was caused me wonder to see this. Why? Because he knew the story of Syekh Yusuf's capture. Because his friend, the captain who captured Syekh Yusuf, he met that captain in Japara, in Indonesia. And in an inn, they were sitting and drinking wine, and he was telling the story about Syekh Yusuf's capture, how they cut the bodies in half.
My goodness!
Now in 1705. You see the grave of this man, Syekh Yusuf. So he was so surprised to see that grave. So if that Reverend, the good thing is he wrote it down in a diary, so we could make that story. So the people are asking now, where is Syekh Yusuf buried? Is he buried in Cape Town? Is he buried
because
in
they've got like 3 graves. They've got in Sri Lanka, they've got in Goa, Makassar, they've got in Cape Town, Africa. So which one is true?
So the thing is this. We know as Muslims, when you die, you are buried, right? Immediately. No waiting 1 week, 2 weeks.
No way.
You buried, right? So not only was Syekh Yusuf buried there, but for 5 years he was here. So what happens to your body after 5 years?
Oh my goodness.
Decomposition, your body, normal people, right? We don't know, but now the story goes, maybe only a finger went. They took a finger, maybe the bone. Or maybe this. Nobody knows. We can't say, but at least the spot was preserved. So a Indian man from India, he had come to South Africa also, and he married a Cape Malay lady, a fisherman's wife. Fisherman, again, the fish, you know, fish was because of the Indonesian tradition of fish. And he was very, he was a very rich man. But he was very interested in Syekh Yusuf. And he made research. He said to the archivist, in Cape Town and in the Netherlands. I will pay you. Find me the information on Syekh Yusuf. And then they found that information, and he put it in his will. He left all his money for trust. His name was Shah Muhammad. He left all his money in trust. So in the University of Cape Town, we have Islamic Studies department with his money. He built the kramat for Syekh Yusuf in Fora. He built the same like you have here. He built there so for the remembrance of Syekh Yusuf. So he was a good man to do that, and now people will remember, you know. So during the time that Syekh Yusuf was there, he couldn't do anything because there was no freedom of religion. It's impossible. I can't imagine how, because where Syekh Yusuf was and where Cape Town was one day by horse and cart. 12 hours up, 12 hours down, if you had fast horses, you know, and you could change horses.
Oh my goodness.
And only the governors could do that. That's why we know it took that time to do. So how were you going to exchange the religion? You know, how were you going
it makes
to do
sense.
that? But after Syekh Yusuf, there were many Indonesians, and they
being exiled in
also exiled. So all over Cape Town, we find kramats. Even Syekh Yusuf, some of his followers, 2 followers, I think, remained behind. And some died there. So their graves are also there. So if the graves of your followers are there, why would the grave, maybe, you know, we don't know. But when I came to his kramat in Sulawesi, I felt something, you know, that he could also be here. You know?
Oh my goodness.
Because it was, you know, and in a way, it's a good thing for the people. You know? Wherever you say he is, that is for the people. You know?
That's for the followers.
It was very sad for me. You know? So because I know the story so well, that it was sad for me, but it was so good for me because I wrote about Syekh Yusuf in Goa, in Sulawesi, but now I've seen it. I've been there. You know, it means a lot to me.
The government of name Syekh Yusuf also as a nation, as a hero in Cape Town, South Africa, right? So what is the influence to the Africa itself?
So he was named, you see, in South Africa also, we had first Dutch colonization. Then British colonization. Then apartheid. Which means, like Nelson Mandela was locked up in Robben Island for 27 years till democracy. It's only 20 odd years that we are a free country. We are not a free country for so long, you know. So he was given posthumously, which means after his death, the Order of Gold, you know, so which is the highest order. So I went to the museum Bala Lompo. And then I see and there's a stick there, like it's almost like a tonka, you know, when you use
the stick.
The tonka when you make
help you to
for Juma, you know, like almost like a, but the history of that tonka was not written there. So we got the history now, and through KK we say we're giving it to Iqbal, who is the director of the Kuala Lumpur, and they will put the English history. But what shocked me when I told you, the Reverend wrote in his diary, when I came to Vergelegen, I saw the Raja there. I met the Raja. He was busy writing the Al-Quran very neatly.
Oh my goodness.
Now, where that is Quran, we don't know. Where it is, we don't know. Somebody brought a piece of Quran from Holland, Cape Town, and brought it to a Muslim in a shopping mall, you know? Shopping mall like that. He said to him, I have this. Will you look after it? It belonged to the people from here. You know? And we looked at that Quran very neatly. I got pictures in my book on show. It's a pity my book is not here now. I got a copy, but I would have liked to have shown. You can find it on the internet, a copy of my book.
All right.
Picture.
Okay, we'll find that one.
So he said all these things, and he gave this piece of Quran, and they had it studied, you know. They said, but this paper cannot come here. It comes from Italy. But it's got a tri-lunar mark. It's very original, you know, and very, it was handwritten. So I'm saying the Raja, because he was a Raja, he was a king. He lived at the governor's estate in his holiday place, you know, farm far away from Cape Town. He had time to write that Quran very neatly. Because he was exiled for how many years, you know? But they tested the paper and said it can't be from But I'm saying the governor is the governor. They can get paper from anywhere. Because the ships used to come and stuff. It could be possible. But when I came to Lumpur, I had no idea what I would see. I was shocked to find a complete Quran.
Goodness.
That was in the possession of the last king, and it was found from the Dutch, the Dutch fort. So that Quran was given to the governor of the Cape. I'm not saying this Quran, but when I looked at it, it was as if I was looking at the picture of what we found in Cape. It's similar, but this was a complete Quran. It is possible that this is the Quran. It is very similar. And now we have a student from Alauddin University. While I was here, he wants to now take this research further. So we've already connected him to somebody in Cape Town, and he's Arabic. He can speak Arabic. So we will discuss the history of that Quran. What is written, because we haven't seen the front and the back of the Quran. Who is it? If that could possibly be the Quran. So more research is coming.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's unanswered questions. The one question in my book I said is unanswered. Is this Quran? And now we see a Quran here, which could possibly be. We don't know where the Raja and his wife is buried, but they died at the Cape and they are buried there. You know? Yeah.
Was Islam already in Africa before Syekh Yusuf being?
So look, Syekh Yusuf came very early, 1690s, right? So, but the 1654, the Dutch already came and they brought some slaves with them from Indonesia whose names were Muslim. So they were Muslim, but they couldn't practice. Right? Remember, no freedom of religion, and they were not educated. But Syekh Yusuf was the most learned scholar at the Cape. The first learned ulama scholar at the Cape. First. The most learned.
All right.
Because only many hundred years after that, the person went for Hajj from the Cape. But Syekh Yusuf came as a Haji to the Cape. You know, he was already a Haji by the time, and he had traveled many places. He
had been learning religion in Makkah for 10 years, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
So
he also had different places he went to. You know?
Okay, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Terima kasih for having
terima
me.
kasih.
And thank you for FAKTA for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for have a good time in Indonesia.
Amin.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.